Hello everybody, this is Full-Time Devils. January transfer window is here. These are the top 5 players who could leave Manchester United this transfer window. Number 5, Timothy Fosu-Mensah. This lad made 10 appearances for Manchester United last season and was trusted in some of the biggest games of the season against Spurs, against Arsenal, against City, at Wembley in the FA Cup semi-final. His performance against Spurs alone should have meant that he progressed this season, and it's not really happened. 2 starts and a handful of single-minute appearances under Jose Mourinho, who was a man that I thought would love Timothy Fosu-Mensah. I think it's best for Timothy Fosu-Mensah now to move on, get a loan somewhere, get some game time before the end of the season if he's not going to be used by Manchester United on the run-in. In at number 4, Ashley Young. Ashley Young's 31 years of age. He's not really looking at progressing from where he is at the moment. He's no longer a first choice right winger or left winger. He's recently been deployed as a fullback, but there's better options than him there at fullback. There's certainly younger options coming through that are better than him at fullback. A couple of starts in the Premier League this year, but I still think Ashley Young's got something to offer a team that's a little bit lower down in the leagues. Maybe if he looked at someone like a Middlesbrough or a West Brom or possibly a Watford, I think he could go there and see out the rest of his career by being a pretty much first choice player. Number 3, Bastian Schweinsteiger. The German football legend, the Deutsche Fußballmeister, hasn't really managed to cement his place in a Jose Mourinho side, but I think that might have been more down to a board decision than it was a Jose decision. The guy didn't have a lock until about 6 weeks ago, but he's recently found himself back in the fold, only making 1 substitute appearance against West Ham so far. As the January transfer window looms, I think it's obvious that he's probably going to be one of the ones that gets moved on. Bastian come out himself and said that he was looking at being his last club in Europe, but that leaves the door open for him to possibly go to China or to the MLS, where I think he would rip it up in either, to be honest. So it looks like January, we might be seeing the last of the football meister. When Bastian signed for Manchester United, I thought this was a real character that was coming into the dressing room. A real likeable lad from Germany who's won everything, including a World Cup, which is not many people who can say that. Comes to Manchester United, where obviously it's not his club. He is a Bayern Munich guy through and through, but when he comes to Old Trafford, I thought this is it. This is the sort of leadership, this is the sort of character that I think Manchester United have lacked in recent years, and that was evident. He took to the club better than anyone I've ever seen. He's a really likeable guy, and I do think that we've lacked a little bit of that in our team of late. I will be sad to see him go, but if he's not playing football, then why are we keeping hold of him? In at number 2, Morgan Schneiderlin. Now, this is another player that I really expected Jose Mourinho to take to, but he's only managed 11 Premier League minutes under him. And this was a player who started 25 times for Manchester United last season, which on the top of things doesn't really sound like so much, but it was actually the 5th highest number of Premier League starts in the league last year. And if you look at the Who Scored ratings, they've ranked him as higher last season than Carrick, Fellaini, Mata, Herrera, Bastian Schweinsteiger, and virtually every single midfielder at the club. So this is someone that I really thought could step up a gear and maybe move into that Carrick role, possibly be a long-term successor for Michael Carrick. And as I said, I thought Jose Mourinho would really love him, but he's not seen him at all. He's not really done anything for him. I really thought he was very Matic-like in the way he plays the game, and I thought obviously with Mourinho having success with Matic at Chelsea, I thought this was going to be made for him. But the rumours of the bids coming in, there's West Brom and Everton supposedly on the table for him. I do think Schneiderlin now is going to be one of those players that we do see moved on, and I'm a little bit upset about that, if I'm being completely honest, because I thought he was a player that definitely could have took to Manchester United and been that real workhorse at the back of the midfield that goes on and has a long career at United. It's just simply not worked out for him. Number 1, Memphis Depay. When this guy signed for Manchester United, he was given the number 7 shirt, come with a lot of expectation. He absolutely tore it up in the Dutch league prior to arriving, scored a ton of goals, gets given the number 7. Everyone's expecting this lad to kick on and tear the Premier League up, and in his first dozen or so appearances, half a dozen appearances, he seemed to be doing that. He came out and said that he thought the Premier League was a lot harder than he expected. Premier League defenders was faster and harder than he had ever imagined, and that he was working hard on his game to improve and develop and get over that. But the chances under Jose Mourinho and the chances towards the back end of Louis van Gaal's reign at Manchester United didn't really lead to him having much game time consecutively, and I think he really needs that. I think he's a player that thrives on knowing that he's secure in the team. If you give him 5 or 6 games, I think you would really see a player develop. Unfortunately, the pressure at Manchester United, both under Louis van Gaal and for Jose Mourinho, means that we can't have any passengers in the team while he develops that. I'm sure he's going to go to Everton, and I'm sure he's going to absolutely rip it up for Everton, because they're going to afford him 5 or 6 games, what he needs to settle into the team and start playing some good football. I just hope that this isn't another Jose Mourinho-shaped Lukaku or De Bruyne-style mistake, because I think that Memphis has really got the potential to be one that got away for us. But you can't argue with the performances that we've had from He's not been good enough for us this season. He wasn't good enough towards the end of last season, so I can't really blame Mourinho for wanting to move him on and bring somebody else in. Okay, so that's the 5 players that we think are the most likely to leave Manchester United during the January transfer window. There's obviously more players that are being linked with exits. What do you think? Do you think there's someone like Fellaini might be going? What about Wayne Rooney? Do you think there's other players like maybe Darmian that you think might be moving on? Get your list of 5 in below and we'll check them out. Stay with Full Time Devils right away throughout January because we've got some awesome transfer content coming all the time. Transfer Daily is back. We've got the transfer review where we sift through all the bullshit so you don't have to and tell you what's going in and what's coming out of Manchester United. Please give this video a like, make sure you subscribe, get your 5 in below, and we'll see you later.